everybody. Welcome back. Now, I know we're a little late on covering this topic, but it's been heavy on my mind, and every time I pull up to my driveway, I shed a single tear for my plants. May they rest in peace after the cold snap.
See, why does this have, I mean, we live in the coastal bend.
I know. There's no business, and especially when it's one day. You work so hard all year to take your plant. You talk to them,
After
you give them
our
hugs.
last big freeze, we should not encounter this issue ever again.
It's funny you say that because we had the one in, what was it, 2020?
Right.
Or I have a fiddle that survived that, and it didn't grow back till a year later. I just butchered it, and then it came back, and that same fiddle finally made it in the ground, and guess what? It's back where we started. So I'm going to leave it in there and see what happens.
But you have some tips for...
I do. And the first one that you might be surprised about is they're saying you want to just gently water the plant. They're saying not to prune them. However, right after doing the research on this, I went home and actually removed the leaves from some of my plants because I was noticing that there was mold. And they were like kind of soggy and very discolored. So if they're literally ready to completely fall off on their own, that's different. But if the stems still feel strong, if they're not mushy or wilted, avoid pruning the plant. The deal is that your plants are living things. They have a lot of energy.
Yes, they do.
And
I'm so intrigued. Do you see the look on my face?
It's a lot like a human. It's so interesting because you can look at somebody and they look kind of okay or a little beat up, but you got to imagine what they're going through on the inside, right?
Exactly. I've heard this before. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and so I might be working so hard on the inside to fix my roots and my stems and to like regenerate myself that if you start cutting off limbs, I've got to put some energy into that as well, and it's going to take away from my recovery on the inside. So think of your plant that way. Also, if your plant has a favorite song, go out and sing to it. No, I'm
That's
just kidding.
the thing. No, but honestly, we've talked about that on the show. It's been a while, but that actually happens.
It does.
You're not crazy if you do that, apparently. I've never done it, but I mean, if you do it, document it and send it to us.
Exactly. Please send us the plant song. You'll be surprised. We'll get some other DMs. Also, don't fertilize the plants just yet. Basically, everything that you're inclined to do by looking at your poor plant that looks exactly like the one in the photo. That's what my whole front yard looks like.
It's
Plants that I've been nurturing for years that were in a pot. We could have brought them in, but they didn't come inside my house. Okay.
So are you planning on getting a brand new look and brand new
I'm
plant?
going to take this opportunity to remove some plants I'm not crazy about.
Think about it
plant
this way. New growth for a new year.
Girl, all of us should be having this mindset. And turns out right now is a great time to plant a plethora of items. You can check them out there on the screen. You've got some different flowers. I think I'm going to replace some really nasty fountain grass I have in the front with these gorgeous roses, which I believe roses are pretty tolerant of things like cold snaps. So I'm looking forward to that. Herbs like basil. You can do an actual garden with fruits and veggies.
Honestly, my father had a garden years back. And
lots of
I
opportunity
loved eating some fresh veggies from
Exactly. So if you do and you have gardening tips, we would love to have you on the show or at least share your tips with our viewers.